What's up, everybody? This is Aircrete Harry, and today I'm going to be doing a screw pull test. So what I have here are a few different varieties of screws, different thicknesses and lengths. I've pre-tied these wires to them so that I could use my pulling tool measuring device and see how much force it takes to pull these screws straight out of these two Aircrete samples, and then I'll pull them down, simulating weight being pulled on them. So I'm going to do this test. I'll screw these in. I have one of each for each side. The sample on the left was the sample I made using 7th generation dish soap. The sample on the right is the Drexel with the thickening agent and the air entrainment. So I've done the push test, and if you haven't looked at that, click on the video for the Aircrete thickener. You can tell which ones because have very shallow dents in this one opposed to the deeper holes in this one. So anyway, I'm going to put these screws in now and pull them out and see how much force it takes to pull them out. Okay, so I have the screws in. This is the meter here. This is the same one I used for the push test. If I push this, it gives me a reading. But if I pull the top, it gives me a reading. So I'm going to be using this hook to pull. So I'm going to start with the dish soap. And honestly, that screw, I didn't even need to screw it. It was going in just with the weight of the screwdriver. So I'm zeroed out. I'm going to hook it and pull it. That was really easy. That read about 6 pounds of force to pull that out. Same screw on the thickening agent with air entrainment, made with Drexel. Wow, I didn't expect that. Wait. Holy cow, I didn't expect this either. My wire broke loose. Need to wrap it better. Okay. Redo. I'm already at about 63 pounds before the wire came loose. I went past the meters. I went around. So the gauge is designed for 100 pounds of force. I can't really say that this is 125, but we're over 100 pounds on that one. That was amazing. I didn't expect it to be that strong at all. Okay, that was impressive. Next screw on the dish soap. That was 5 pounds of force. And here's a close-up of the screw. That's the screw I just pulled out. I'll give you a comparison. This was the first screw I pulled out, and this is the screw I just now pulled out. As you can see the difference in the screws. I forget what numbers they are, you know, the size. Okay. Same screw on this side now, the little one. Let me do this, wrap this a little better in case same thing happens. That's showing 99 pounds of force. This screw was 99 pounds of force to pull it out. Okay, next screw. This screw, it's about 34 pounds of force to pull that screw out. Same screw on the next side. This went around, so again, the gauge is designed for 100. It's designed for 100 psi, but just for argument's sake, we'll just say that was 144 pounds to pull that out. I'm not sure that that would be accurate. It's a 100-pound gauge, so it went around and then some. So we're just gonna to use something as a measurement, we'll just say 145, but otherwise it was over 100 pounds. This last screw is the biggest screw of the bunch. Zeroed out. That was 20 pounds of force. You can see it's a very coarse thread, long screw. 20 pounds to pull it out of there. That one read 75 pounds of force. Now clearly there's a difference in the Aircrete where it's settled. Maybe there's an air pocket or something there. I would have imagined this would have been much more. So just to give it a quick test, I'm going to move this screw up to one of the higher spots where I got a higher reading, just to see if I get more of a force. But otherwise, 70 pounds, that was a lot. This is a redo on this screw. My wire came off again. Okay, redo. Yeah, that was much higher. We'll just say that was 132 pounds of force to pull it out. Now again, it's really just 100. It's a 100-pound meter, but we're just gonna read that. I don't know. Okay, so that was a big difference in all these samples. So next, I'm gonna pull down on the pieces, on the screws. Okay, so this next test is going to be, I guess, a little more realistic of the forces on the screw, as if you were hanging like cabinets. It would be more of a downward force. There is some pulling force because of angles, you know, like if this were the back of a cabinet and you had two screws there, you have that pulling force. It does exist, but it's going to be measuring more of the downward force. So let's see. Zeroed out. First screw, 20 pounds of force to pull that first screw out. Again, this screw here was 20 pounds of force. $50 pounds of force for this screw. About 28 pounds of force for that one. Oh, I'm gonna have to redo that. We'll just say that was 70 pounds of force before that whole piece gave way. I'm actually gonna have to, I'll redo that. I'll flip this around and put that screw back in, and as well as the other screw that came out with that chunk. Let's just take a look at the inside of that piece that came out. This is how it looks. You can see these big air pockets. You can see the cell structure is pretty tight. Pretty tight cell structure on it. But that whole chunk just popped off. Okay, back to that screw again. I'll pull down from this side. Again, my wire popped before the screw pulled out. I didn't think any of these were going to be strong enough to pop the wire. That's why I didn't tie them as tight as I obviously need to. Okay, that screw went all the way around, so we'll say 101 pounds of force, or 100. Okay, next screw. Actually, everything shifted on me, so I gotta redo that test. when I say shift it, this dial spins. So you zero out, so you zero that needle out, and then you align the zero. So that's what shifted on me just now. Looks like about 27 pounds of force to pull that screw out. Same screw as here. I'll pull down on that one. Let me make sure my wire is tied. Zeroed out. That's about 137 pounds of force. Again, this is a 100 gauge meter, so it's gone around. So I'm just reading it. Not sure that would be at all accurate, but just for argument's sake, we'll just go with that number. 137 pounds of force to pull this one out of my special mix. Okay, last screw. It's the biggest screw here. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 54 pounds of force to pull that screw out. Just a comparison. These are the screw heads, and these are the screw lengths. They're pretty similar. This one's a slightly bigger screw. The threads are both coarse threads. Okay, last one is here. That went all the way around. It's 130 pounds of force. And you can see I was ripping the Aircrete apart here. Here's a look at the cell structure. It's so light. I'm surprised it was even that strong. Here's a close-up. Broke again. Here's a close-up of the cell structure from that mix. Well, we have somewhat of an idea now of how much force one screw would take with these two mixes. These were both a 50-gallon mix, meaning I added, no, actually these were a little bit more. These both had about 48 gallons of foam added to one bag of cement. So the one on the left was 7th generation dish soap. The one on the right was made with Drexel, air entrainment, and my thickening agent. So if you were hanging cabinets or anything, you have an idea now with the thickening agent especially. That was very weak, but I guess technically if you have enough screws spaced out apart, you know, if one screw is giving you 30 pounds, and let's say your cabinets weigh 50 pounds, you know, at least like 6 screws should hold it. But the thickening agent was a massive difference in strength. I mean, there was a big difference in how much pulling force it took to pull the screw straight out as well as down. So if you're making a Aircrete wall that's flat, figure, you know, it's an interior wall, you have a lot more holding strength with the thickening agent. I'm calling it a thickening agent, but really it's an Aircrete strengthener, you know, Aircrete thickening and strengthening agent. So it makes it way stronger, as you can see. I will be performing more tests in the future, but based on this one test, there's a massive difference. Actually, this is the second test. The first test was the push test, which showed a lot of strength in the push test, and this pull test showed a massive difference between these two mixes. So anyway, that's for your viewing pleasure and knowledge. This is Aircrete Harry. Peace out. I love you all, and I'll catch you later.